name's Nick. I'm a full-time Forex trader and entrepreneur. We put out tons of stuff for free.
These are real trades. This is real money. I'm putting my money on the line. This is going to be a live trading video here, locking in over $1,000 on this trade.
Wow, I'd love to get in on this.
Technical insights that really look good to me.
Here we go, we're live.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to another stream. Happy Monday to you. It is Monday here in the United States. We actually have a bank holiday today. So the U.S. traders are probably sleeping in or doing something else today. But I'm still here. Wanted to do some analysis with you guys and just hop into things. So hello to everybody in the chat. Got a bunch of people already here. Hello to Asan, Southwell, Augustine, Eli, Raj. Thanks, guys, for being here. Happy Monday to you. How's everybody doing? You guys having a good start to your week? Got some currency market stuff going already. So we're going to talk about everything that is moving. And we see right now we have the Australian dollar moving higher. We have some other things that are pushing and moving around. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So let's start with the currency heat map. You can actually see here that right now it seems like we've got a good little bit of strength on the Aussie and the New Zealand at this time. So in just a minute, we're going to jump into the charts as we usually do. So do some analysis together, talk about stuff that's going on, and basically just try and figure this whole thing out. So if we're looking at this, what this tells us is that if we're looking at all the different currencies, right, you've got them all here on the left. These are the major 8 is what they call them, right? And then they're actually crossed with the same over here, right? And so what you have is you have the euro, the dollar, the yen, etc., crossed against the same thing to see how are they moving relative to one another. So you might say, well, if I'm looking at the Australian dollar today specifically, you can see that against the euro, it's doing well. Against the dollar, it is doing well. Against the yen, it's doing okay. The pound well, Swiss franc well, the CAD well, and the New Zealand well. So this just tells us like how strong or weak a currency is compared to the basket of the other ones, right? So it just gives us a little bit of information there. I find it very useful just to look at the start of our streams, just to get an idea of what is moving and what is kind of standing still. So we can check this out. And we can see that the New Zealand dollar also very, very strong. Moving very nicely against most of the currencies. The only one it's not doing better than is, of course, that Aussie dollar, which is having a really good day today. So what else? We have the yen doing okay, but everything else seems to be pretty flat today. Again, one thing to remember is that it is a U.S. holiday right now. It's Memorial Day. And so there are a lot less people actively looking at charts or making trading decisions right now than there might usually be. So just be aware of that. So it might be a little bit of a slower day in the market, but we do still have some moves that are going on in the rest of the world. So we can jump into some of the charts and see what is going on. So let's start with the euro and talk about where we're at with the euro dollar here. I'm going to go ahead and full screen this. So we will start here with the euro, which is still in this nice uptrend. You've got this thing making higher lows, higher highs, and overall progressively pushing up against the dollar. So just something to start out there with is, you know, if we're watching the euro this week, watch to see if it can push that and put in that new higher high. I would expect that could be the case. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to do a full view of the euro dollar. So let's start on the daily chart and we will go ahead and mark this thing up. So the first thing I'm going to mark is, of course, the previous high. So this previous high that we made back in January really found sellers and really pushed this thing back down. We actually had a multiple month downtrend there for the euro dollar, but now we've since really rallied back. So where we're at currently, we look like, to me, just from just a big perspective, it looks like we're probably headed to retest those highs. On top of that, we also have some longer term demand, some big area down here, which is fairly obvious. You just had some big buyers step in and push things back here. Funny enough, I actually mentioned this a few times back in the past. This area right here, this was the U.S. elections. So right around this time, you have October, November, here in the United States, the elections were going on, and it was causing lots of volatility in the markets. In fact, you can actually see that post election, in between the handoff between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, there was a lot of concern. A lot of people were not sure how that was going to go down. Was there going to be civil war? What is the new policy going to look like? What are the changes that are coming? And so we saw this natural drift higher on the euro as people sold off the dollar. Well, then things switched around. We had a new president in, and not necessarily depending on who the president is, but more the lack of fear, like that more, okay, things are a little bit more calm now because there's not that like political like unrest, right? We saw the dollar really strengthen again and actually push the euro down. So this is what I'm talking about, like by big macro events that go on in the world, they can have a huge impact on currencies. Well, right now we see that the European region has been really bouncing back. We've seen them talking about how, their vaccine rollout is doing much better. Things are coming back to normal, and the second half of their year should look really good. What about the dollar on the flip side? Well, on the dollar side of things, you have concerns around inflation, and you have the Fed saying that they're not super interested in raising rates anytime soon. So that's sort of a weak catalyst for the dollar. So when we look at the euro from a big picture, I think that the euro is still headed higher until that news changes. So for me, I like to ride the fundamentals. Like what's going on in the world, I'd like to go with that trend until that trend no longer exists, right? So for now, that story of a rebounding European economy and a weak dollar has me more interested in long setups on the euro. Okay, so that's the first part. The second part is we drop it down a little bit lower time frame and see if we can make some sense out of the technical analysis that is going on this chart. In a moment, we'll take a look at the sentiment analysis as well. You do, of course, have the previous high here acting as potential resistance. I'm gonna actually zoom out just to make this all line up nicely. So that previous resistance point that we made last week was a nice area for sellers. They did hold that spot for last week. But I think that you've got lots of opportunities on the long side, in my opinion. As always, this is not me telling you what to do with your money. These are just my thoughts. But let's look at this from just a supply and demand perspective. You have this area here. You have this area here. And I guess you could argue that, we put in some nice demand here, which you could extend arguably to include this area here. So a little bit of interest there by the Euro bulls here as it pulls back. Let's also just, like I said, line that up so I don't have a freak out. I like to have my charts clean like this because then I can see them on all time frames nicely. But yeah, so the Euro, again, overall, nice strength for the euro. I think that there's some good trade setups on pullbacks here personally, and I do think that we are probably headed to that target that I pointed out, which is right around there at 1.23 for 1.23 on the dot. So nice little round number there. I think price, like I said, has potential to do something like this and to continue higher going off of this trend. So that's my first concept on the euro. Let's see what else we can do. So I wanted to look at retail sentiment. So let's do that. So we'll head over to the website, go to retail Forex sentiment just to pull this up quickly. And we can see right now that 73% of retail traders are currently short on the Euro USD. Well, what does that mean and why does that matter? Well, if 73% are short, and these people we know statistically like lose money, right? According to broker statements and people that have to put this number out, they say that most of their clients and brokerages lose money. Well, if we know that most of them are losing money, we probably don't want to be doing the exact same thing as them, which is shorting that euro. So for me right now, the euro adds even more interest on the long side on potential pullbacks here this week. So what does that bring me to? Well, if we see a double bottom here, if we come back down, potential double bottom here could be interesting for euro longs. I think that gives you some decent risk reward going for a continuation up to, like I said, that target of 1.23. Will we get there? I'm not 100% for sure that it will get there, but I think that that is the most logical place and the path of least resistance for the euro. It's going to go somewhere. I think it's probably going to push higher so long as dollar weakness maintains and we have that euro still looking good. So that's my opinion. Please remember, it is just my opinion. I'm not here to tell you what to do with your money. This is just my thoughts. But yeah, so I think that, there might be some decent setups on the pullback here for me. I like the idea of looking something like this. This gives you a nice risk to reward in terms of, you have this nice area where we've seen a lot of demand. If price can hold that area, you get something like this going. That could be great. And on the flip side, if things don't go well, you risk a relatively small amount. Okay, retail sentiment is super strong to the short side. So anytime something is super short on the retail side of things, Ryan, I like to just be cautious of shorting it myself, if that makes sense. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's like, oh, it's guaranteed to go higher. It just means that if everybody is short, I don't necessarily want to be doing it with them. There's sometimes where I will. There's sometimes where I'm actually with the retail crowd, which sounds weird, but retail sentiment is not necessarily an indicator that is like golden. It's not going to tell you exactly when to get in. It doesn't really tell you timing at all, actually. It tells you just the general positions, and we know that it can be wrong. But like, for example, everyone could be short on the euro, and we could see this thing do this. And you'd be like, oh, well, retail sentiment, they were right this time. But then, the longer trend continues. And some of them made money, but most of them end up losing it, right? So that is the concept. But I like the euro. I think it has upside, and there might be some good setups on the pullback. Euro yen is another one. I traded this one recently. I took a trade. You can see my little things here. I actually even have an alert set for the euro yen. Check this out. So on the euro yen, I took a trade right around here, called that out inside of the private Discord. Price rallied, did really well. Very nice spot to be in, and then ultimately closed me out on this candle here. Unfortunately, just before it did that crazy move we saw on Friday of last week. I'm not too upset though, because I caught a good bit of move there, and you're not going to play everything perfect all the time. So unfortunately, yeah. So with that said, hi Victoria. Victoria, I saw you on Lynn's stream. I hopped in there and I saw what she was up to, and I saw you in there, so that's cool. Glad that you checking her content out as well. So yeah, I think euro yen could be interesting to see if we get that pullback. If that does come into play, like I said, I still like that euro bullishness opportunity, and that just looks clean, right? You jump in here with a trend line. I like that setup a lot. I like the idea of hey, if this euro yen gives us another opportunity to try and do another one of these things where it does a little bit of a counter trend, and then we see the break. If we see something like this back down to the trend line there, and maybe even into that past resistance, I'd love the idea of looking for long setups to try and continue this trend. Again, this one is, I'm almost certain of it, super bearish on the retail side of things. So let's go look. Euro yen, yep, 82% of retail traders are short on the euro yen. So I'm probably not going to be shorting it myself. So that is just my opinion. And the thing is, it's almost natural, because people see this, like the retail trader, they say, okay, this thing looks high. It's probably got to come down now, right? Like after a big pop like this, it's got to come down. And it's not necessarily the case, right? You have these scenarios where this popped for a reason. There was a lot of bearishness on the yen that made a lot of sense. And so when that happens, I'm not looking at that as like oh, let's short it now. I'm saying, oh, that's a really good catalyst. There's something going on here that makes the yen look very weak, especially relative to the euro. And so a pullback here means, ooh, to me, I'd be more interested in going with that. It doesn't work out perfectly all the time. Nothing ever does in trading, but the idea is the same. It's just a general approach, a general tendency for me to want to be with that big momentum, not trying to fade it, because fading big momentum is a very tough game to play in trading. A lot of times you guys have probably seen it. You get these big run-ups, and then they start, and then they just keep going. That's why the engulfing candlestick pattern is such a popular one, right? Because it is a sign of absolute strength coming into a market. Here's a short-term one where you had a bearish engulfing that led to some sell pressure, right? They pop up again and again in the markets. Here, this one was a just absolutely beautiful one right there, right? You saw the pop. Here it is, an ugly one, but still a good one there. Just driving momentum into this market. So I like euro yen on the long side. If it gives me a pullback this week, I will be looking for setups myself. Really liked that. Look out for Euro CPI and unemployment tomorrow. Thank you, Sean. Actually, good point, Sean. I wanted to show this on the screen. So let's do this. We'll pop up forexfactory.com. So today you can see, again, there's nothing scheduled, big folder anyways for May 31st today. But tomorrow, June 1st, we start off the month with a banger of a list of things to do. We've got the Aussie rate statement. That has a big potential movement on the Australian dollar. Again, if the Central Bank of Australia basically comes out and says, hey, we think we're going to raise rates, similar to New Zealand, which is September of 2022. If they say that too, that could be really good for the Aussie dollar. I actually don't know what their latest statements are. I have to look at that off camera. But again, that has the potential to really move the Australian dollar. Again, that's right on the top of the day there in the Asian session. So be careful about that. If you have any Aussie positions, if you're a day trader, always be careful about news. You should probably check it each day if you're day trading. If you're swing trading, it's still something to pay attention to, but I keep my trades open into news all the time just because, again, I'm more of a swing trader. And if I'm just getting in and out all the time due to news, I'll never really stay into a position. So, because news happens all the time. Also for the Aussie, we also have GDP the same, I guess, in the next session there. So, which should be interesting and potentially market moving as well. You have the OPEC JMMC meeting. Is that Japan? What is that? Joint Ministerial Monitoring Committee. Yeah. Okay. That's not Japan. Meetings are attended by representatives from the 13 OPEC members and 11 other oil-rich nations. They discuss a range of issues regarding energy markets and, most importantly, okay, so that has the potential to move markets, could be impacting on some of the heavily oil-driven economies like Canada. Okay, that could be an interesting thing to watch out for. CAD GDP comes out on Tuesday. German final manufacturing PMI. Okay. Yeah, so we got some stuff there. Also, don't forget that, of course, at the end of the week, so Wednesday, retail sales for Australia, nothing major, I guess. Not at least enough to make it a red candle. And then, of course, on Friday, we've got the big day. And we will be streaming that live. So I'm probably going to schedule that stream so that you guys can set a reminder on YouTube. I don't know if you guys like to do that, but definitely we'll be streaming the NFP numbers there and watching the spike. We did it last month and it was actually a really big mover. So again, just a big top-down view. You can see that they're talking about for the employment change, their forecast is 670K jobs added. So that could be an interesting number to watch to see if that comes true or not. And then in terms of unemployment rate, they're forecasting 5.9. The previous was 6.1. And again, this is something to watch out for because if this misses, right, if you get something where it's like, oh, it's actually 6%, that could actually be higher than expected, which would not be good for the dollar. We could see some dollar bearishness. So these are just some things to watch out for. For now, though, we've got some stuff in the meantime. Like I said, Tuesday should be busy as well. So there's a look at the news for the week. I hope that helps. If you aren't using forexfactory.com, you can check that site out all the time. It's a really great resource there just to get an idea of what is moving. Okay, let's look at the pound. We'll take a look at the pound dollar here. Again, I don't have too much to comment on this one because it is just chopping at resistance. We have to look at it from a daily perspective to really see what's going on. We can check it out here. So the pound been hovering right here at 1.42. It's been knocking on the door over and over, but it doesn't seem to want to break just yet. If we see something big this week, if we see dollar bearishness and something that pushes the pound above this, I would love to look for something like that. Looking for a simple break and retest on the lower time frames could be very interesting to me on the pound dollar. So I'm watching for this. I've been waiting for it for a while. It doesn't seem to want to do it just yet, but once it does, you already know I'm going to be looking for that opportunity to try and go long on a retest of the pound dollar. So that's a setup that I've been waiting for a while, like I said. So if we get the break, if we see some bullishness on the pound, then of course I will be looking myself to try and get long if I can. I do like the pound. I think that the pound is more favorable than the dollar. It has been for a while. Obviously, price is moving up. But again, just going through the motions there, waiting for it to potentially break. Or if it's going to pull back, then maybe look for opportunities long on a pullback. But for now, just waiting to see, can we get that break? Gold traders, don't worry. We will get there. Go to gold, Nick. You guys every day. It's so impressive. There's people in the chat every day. Nick, pull up gold, pull up gold, pull up gold. I'll get there. Don't worry. Gold is probably our most popular market to talk about, and I understand why. It's an interesting thing to trade. But I will say about gold, a lot of times people are intrigued by gold because of the volatility around it, because they think, oh, I can make a lot of money really quickly. Well, you can also remember You can also lose money very quickly when trading gold. So please be cautious. If you're a newer trader, don't go running to gold. In fact, my opinion is like, if you're a new trader, if I'm a new trader, if I'm sitting there and I'm looking at gold, I'd be like, okay, let me pause on that and come back when I feel a little bit more comfortable, because gold will accent your goods and bads. If you're not yet a profitable trader, gold is probably going to be worse for you, because if you're a losing trader, right, what it means is that if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know risk management, if you don't know how to like plan a trade and stick to that plan and all that, right, all that good stuff that we talked about on the channel, if you're not able to do that yet, and then you go and you trade gold, gold is going to expose you hard, right? Does anybody agree with that? For the people out there who are knowledgeable about the gold market, would you agree with that statement? Do you think gold is like, it does a good job at exposing people who don't know what they're doing yet, because it can really, really be a dangerous mover. It can move against you very quickly and make some serious losses if you think you know your stuff too much. Got burnt with gold. It sucks when I first started trading. Yeah, it's because it's so attractive to the new traders out there. They're looking at it, they're like, ooh, gold, that sounds cool to trade, right? It is interesting. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with trading gold. It's just that you have to be careful and use the same principles. If you're trading it because it's more exciting, by the way, is bad. Getting excited about your trading is like going to the casino, like, and you find your favorite machine. It's like, ooh, this one flashes a certain color. Like, that's dangerous, right? Trading should feel a little bit boring, in my opinion. Okay, yeah, some of you guys test your ability to not go insane. That's a great way of putting it, YHF. I like that. Gold tests your ability to not go insane. That's why me as a beginner, I stay away from gold. Hey, Don, nothing wrong with that. You can always come back to gold if you're interested in it, but we will get there. We'll take a look at gold in just a minute. Let's keep going along. I'm just checking off some of the ones that I wanted to look at. We'll take a look at pound yen here. This one also, I would like to buy this thing, but I got to see a pullback. It's been such a bullish train here, and don't get me wrong, I do like the idea of it going higher, but if I'm going to buy something, I need it to pull back. So let's actually start fresh on the pound yen for my friends out there who are watching this one. Right now, this area doesn't look too bad for a potential pullback zone. Of course, you've also got this area here, so a couple different zones there. And then, of course, I'd probably have to highlight this area here. You guys, this entry that I got stopped out of a few weeks back is such a tease. Like, so because I'm logged into my live account, you can see where my orders past were. So you can see pound yen did me dirty a few times. I went long here, got stopped out. And check this out, you guys. This is the most teasing thing. And if it happens to me, I've been doing this for 5-6 years now. It still happens to me sometimes. And there's no like 100% avoiding it. So let's just be honest. I got into this trade somewhere here. I got stopped out on the wick there. And then it did this. Somebody should put like a meme over me where I'm like sad boy or something. Because like, look at this thing, man. It went from where my entry was approximately 500 plus pips to the upside, and I missed the whole thing. Had I stayed into this trade, I probably would have stayed at least into this point, maybe even into this next zone. I could have been up probably one of the best trades of my year. But what's the lesson? Because there's always a lesson. The lesson is I still caught good moves anyways, because I still looked for setups and I still was patient, and I didn't let this thing like absolutely get inside my head. Yes, I missed a great move. Yes, I sat here and I watched this thing run away, and I was so right. I was so bullish on the pound yen. I was like, all of these pullbacks, I want to buy them. They look great. I tried here, got stopped out. Tried here. This one actually was break even, by the way. It moved up and then it moved down and then stopped out for break even. So again, break even is nowhere near as good as what I could have been in, right? But this is the danger of trading a lot of times, because a lot of times what people say is they say, oh man, well, I could have been up $5,000. I could have been up $4,000. Next time I'm not gonna let my stop loss get, I'm gonna hold in. But next time, what if it didn't work out? What if I said, okay, I bought here And then I see it dipping on me and I'm like, no, I'm not going to miss it out this time. And then it does the opposite move and I'm holding on to a loser. The lesson here is, be grateful for when you get stopped out of something that goes way wrong, because that's a great scenario. You're like, okay, well, I took a minimal loss. Yes, this is annoying sometimes. Yes, you watch a trade run away from you. But if you sit there and you let your thoughts dominate you and you're like, man, I should have done this. Next time I'm going to do this. Like, if you can't stick to a plan just because something didn't work out, that is a quick way to really screw yourself up. Because again, I could have stayed in this trade and made a lot of money, but what if I stayed in this trade and it did awful and I just refused to give up on my trade? My entry, for whatever reason, just did not work out the way I was hoping for. It was a bit unfortunate, but let's just move on, right? That's the idea. The markets are still there the next day. You don't have to sit there and beat yourself up for a trade that you missed. Oh, I should have bought Tesla when it was at this price. Oh, I should have bought Bitcoin when it dipped, right? That game is hindsight trading. It's a gambler mentality, and it's just dangerous because, again, you can build some habits that are really, really destructive. So the reason I'm pointing and exposing myself right now is so that, well, maybe I can learn from it, but also maybe somebody out in the crowd can relate and might benefit from hearing that as well. So when I'm looking at pound yen, let's forward think now. Let's face this thing head on. I love the idea of a pullback. If we get a pullback again, I'd be interested and let my heart get broken again by pound yen. That statement when it's like single people, they like open themselves up to be heartbroken again. That's so cheesy. But yeah, I mean, maybe it'll do it again to me. I don't know. Hopefully not. But if price pulls back to like 153, I like that idea. I like that previous resistance broken. Could be a nice spot to look for long setups. I like that. I think it has more upside. And until things change in the fundamentals around the world, I am still long biased on the pound and short biased on the yen. So I love this thing for higher prices. Again, this one has been, let me just tell you guys, a lot of times people will see this chart and they'll say, Nick, why the heck would you want to buy? It looks like it's too high and it's going to crash. And I've pointed this out many times on the stream, but I'm going to keep saying it for the people who are new. Let's look at the retail sentiment. So on the pound yen, you guys, the pound yen right now is 83% short. And if you trust me for a second, and if you're newer to my streams, trust me on this. This whole time, retail traders have been short on this currency pair, saying, oh, it looks like the top. Oh, it looks like the top. Oh, it looks like the top. Oh, it looks like the top, top, right? They've consistently been getting beat the crap out of by pound yen, which just keeps chugging higher. Why? Because retail traders, on average, they usually fight trends. They don't go with them, right? And so from my experience and from what I see in the markets, this is something that we just see happen again and again and again is the market starts trending up. All the retail traders say, oh, it's got to be at the top. 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 And trying to call a top is a very dangerous and, in my opinion, a very losing game. So when I'm looking at pound yen, I like the idea of a pullback. I don't want to buy it at the top. I'd rather wait for a discount. If it comes in, great. I'll look for higher highs. That's pretty much it. So Emmanuel says, there's a guy in my group that sold 4 times just because price reached resistance. And that's the danger, right? Because look at this. If you want to find resistance on this thing, oh, you can. But again, resistance doesn't mean a whole lot when the trend is just absolutely banging. Right? You could say, oh, here's resistance. And you could say, here's resistance. And you could say, here's resistance, right? You can keep playing this game, but when the market is trending and it's just pushing higher and you're sitting there trying to fight every move, you say, okay, I'm going to sell. I'm going to sell when it comes up here. And then you're going to okay, I'm going to sell when it comes up here. Sell when it comes up here. And it just keeps going, right? This is the danger of refusing to be wrong in the markets. That is something that so many traders screw themselves up with. They can't admit losses and they hold on to huge losses until they blow their account. That for me is just a huge thing to avoid. Let's look at gold, you guys. It's time. But before I do gold, let's get some hashtag gold gangs in the chat. Drop a comment if you're new. Hashtag gold gang in the chat. Oh, dang it, I typoed. But hashtag gold gang. Drop that in the chat. Let's get it going. Let's get some hype going for our friends who like trading gold or watching gold. Got some comments to make on this thing for sure, but let's get those hashtag gold gangs in chat. Also, if you're enjoying the stream, by the way, got 522 people watching. If you're enjoying the content here, drop a like on the stream as well. It really does help. Today is a bank holiday here in the United States, so I should be not working, but you already know I love you guys and I love doing this content. So if you enjoy this stuff, help me out. Help my holiday. It's like I said, so for the people out there who are not in the United States, it is a U.S. bank holiday today. So it's Memorial Day. And so I don't have to be working, but you already know I love doing this stuff and love hanging out with you guys. So shout out to my other U.S. traders out there who are putting in that work on a holiday. So thank you very much for all the support, guys. Drop that like on the stream if you're enjoying it. And let's get into some gold. All right, gold gang in the building. So let's do it. UK also a bank holiday? Is it? I didn't know that. Okay, yeah, good point. So forgive my ignorance, but it's also a UK bank holiday, I guess. So we got another show, by the way, after this one. If you're tuned in now and you want to keep watching with me afterwards, we got another show with another guest. He came on last week and he was awesome. So we're having RT Forex come back onto the stream after this one. So I'll tell you guys where you can get that towards the end. But let's talk about gold. Let's see what's going on. I want to pull up the COT reports and show you guys this. The latest data looks still very, very good for the gold market. So let's pull this up. Here we are looking at the website. And if you head over to the website and go to COT reports, you can pull up any one that you want. Let's look at this. So gold, the non-commercials here, nice little buying going on. So in April and May, we got some overall accumulation on the gold market from institutional traders. The reason that matters is because when you have institutional traders buying something, it's kind of like if you see a very experienced veteran Wall Street investor buying Bitcoin, isn't that a little bit more encouraging than like the guy who just signed up for a Robinhood account and bought bought crypto, right? The reason that matters is because this is the institutional money. This is the hedge funds, the leveraged funds, the big players in the game. And when they're buying something, it's way more interesting than when the retail crowd is jumping into something or YOLOing into GameStop, right? That's why it matters. So I like to look at the two in tandem. So like, what's the gold market looking like for institutional traders? Well, right now, seems like they're accumulating it. Seems like the last few weeks, they've been buying up gold. And that is a very good catalyst for higher gold prices, because when you see them accumulating, a lot of times what they do is they accumulate for a while. They don't just, here's an example. They sold back in February, sold for a while, right? Then they went flat, and then now they're starting to accumulate. So that could lead to more time of buying gold. Now, part of the reason off that, I'm going to speculate here and say that it's probably due to the concerns around inflation right now. Why do people buy gold? Well, they buy gold a lot of times to hedge against inflation, or because they think that the dollar is going to be weak, or they think that inflation is going to be a bigger problem, or maybe the world turmoil that people are concerned about, which I think is not necessarily the catalyst here. I think that it's probably more inflation. But again, just that thought process there. So for now, again, with that weaker dollar and problems with that, could see gold prices move higher. I still have a target here of 1950 on gold. I think it is probably headed there. I've held gold in my investment accounts. I'm not going to call it a trade because I know that would be, I'd be lying to you guys. I do own gold. Let me see. You know what? Can I pull it up on my phone just to prove it to you guys? It's not much gold, but I'm going to show it to you. Maybe we can get it to focus on the screen. Maybe we can't, but I'm going to show it to you just to prove that I have gold. I'm just not up very much on it. So I bought GLD, which is the ETF in the US stock market. Can we get this to focus? Let's see if this is going to work. We're just trying stuff. Okay. Is that going to work? Oh yeah, that's going to work. Not very well, but it's going to work. Okay. It's like exposing how dirty my phone is too. Yeah. So I have 6.5% of my portfolio in gold, which is actually fairly aggressive for this stock market account that I have. I have 37 shares of GLD at an average price of 174.89. So the reason I tell you that is because I did think that gold was going up for a while. I bought some back here, but to be completely honest with you, sorry, I'll show my screen too. That's my bad. So I did think that it was going up. I bought some back here, but to be completely honest with you, I think I bought some back here as well. So I am profitable on gold, just not by a ton. So I took some trades back here, or some investments back here, took some investments back here, and things are overall going decently. Like I said, I just want to show you that just so you know I've got some skin in the game there. But I think gold has the potential to rocket up to 1950 here, and if that were to happen, then it would probably be a really good spot to maybe look for some pauses on the bullishness. Again, I don't like to call tops, so I probably wouldn't even sell my positions if it got up there. But if you're a trader, maybe you say, oh, well, we do have some resistance here, might find some sell pressure at that point, might see some healthy pullback. And I don't think it's out of the question for gold to pull back even before we get to 1950. Now, if you're a seller on gold, if you're looking at this thing and saying, okay, I want to sell gold, I would just say, be cautious of trying to sell the highs. Just like pound yen, you've got people probably who are saying, oh, I want to sell this. It's at resistance. Bam, goes higher. Oh, this is looking sell heavy. Oh, bam, goes higher, right? So I would just caution against trying to short this thing just because it seems high. For me, if I was, I'll give you guys, for the sellers out there, I'll give you a perspective that I think is actually a fair idea. I like this idea. So if this double top holds, that's nice, but I'd really like to see a lower low. Something like this. Now you're talking. If you get that break underneath this level, I like that. I think that shows bears might actually have some strength there. It doesn't mean that it's going to go crashing to $500 per ounce. But what it does say is it says, okay, well, if we have enough strength to get us broken underneath this support, where are the buyers? They might not be up here. They might be down here. Right? So that could be a nice little bearish catalyst. If you are just looking to short gold, that is at least what I would say. If I had to short gold, if you forced me to short gold, I'd have to wait for something like that. On the flip side, though, I'm way more interested in bullish setups. There was a great pullback here last week towards the end of the week, pulled back right to support, found buyers very quickly, and it's just same old, same old. Can we, of course, break through the highs yet again and do another break and retest? That would be my favorite setup on gold. Something like this. Like this, like this, just going with the flow. That is my style of trading. I like to trade with the trend because I find it easier. I find it, look, I'll be honest with you. Like sometimes people ask, Nick, what's the easiest trading strategy? As if, there's just an easy way to make money. And although there's nothing that's easy about markets, I personally find that the easiest way to make money in markets, it's still not easy. It's simple. Let's not use the word easy. Let's use the simple. The simplest way that I find to make money in markets is to ride trends. It's not easy because it can be psychologically stressful. You can take a lot of losers trying to ride trends. And again, people are weirded out by that when I say that. They're like, what do you mean? You should win more often if you're trying to ride trends. Well, it's true. But what if you tried to buy this pullback and then you got stopped out? And then you bought this and you were a little bit early, and then you bought again, and then finally you made money. There's a lot of losses even in trend following because sometimes it's hard to pick out exactly where the dip or the breakout is going to occur, right? So people can still mess this up, but the overall idea makes it a little bit helpful in my opinion, because if you have a general market that is flowing up, if you're just looking to go long in some way or another, I think it's probably a little easier to make money when it's just flowing up than if you're trying to short when it's flowing up. Right? Just my opinion. But that's the thought. That's what I'm looking at. Now I get it. I hope that helped. Rejection candles and engulfer. What is that on? Nick, can you quickly mention what kind of confirmation you look for before taking a trade setup at support or resistance? Ryan, I don't just use technicals. So anytime I take a trade, for example, if I was fundamentally bearish on gold, it could give me the most beautiful technical buy setup in the world and I wouldn't touch it because I have to have a fundamental bias on a currency or a commodity before ever taking a trade. When is Ivan back on? Hey, Loopy Lou. His fundamental knowledge is amazing, and he's a trend trader too. Yeah, Ivan and I have a very similar style. He's a friend of mine. I really like him. He's awesome. I've been so glad to have him on each week, and he is coming on Tuesdays. Loopy, are you following the second channel? If you are, he's scheduled to come back every Tuesday at 10 a.m. U.S. Eastern. So, in fact, we have another show just after mine with his name is Ryan. He came on last week, and people really liked his content as well. So, got some good shows coming up, Loopy Loop. But yeah, stay tuned for Ivan. He'll be back. Don't you even worry. He's he's a crowd favorite for sure. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, by the way, we have another channel where it's mostly like a rotation of different analysts and people. If you yourself are an analyst that wants to get some attention to your YouTube channel, we're trying to bring people together. In fact, I'm going to show that on the screen because it is a bank holiday, so things are a little bit slow. So bear with me here. Let me show you this. Head over to our other channel because you won't regret it, I promise. We're putting so much stuff for free on this channel. So, okay. So check this out. So this is our other channel. Okay. So our other channel, our goal here, or my goal. So you already know I'm a trader and I make my YouTube videos here. One of my personal goals is to someday have like a full blown, and it's kind of in process. I'm rubbing my hands together. The goal is to put on lots of personalities, lots of analysts, and basically make like one of the first Forex TV stations. I don't know. I think it's a cool goal. I'm excited about it. My team's excited about it. That's our goal. So we're putting on all sorts of personalities. We did scalping last week on the channel, which was crazy. We had Emmanuel who came on. He's fantastic. He's really great. Of course, you can see some of my content, but we have just lots of guests. Here's your boy Ivan hanging out and doing some market analysis each week. So again, we had Lynn's on last week, just lots of different personalities. And again, we have Ryan coming back today. So if you guys want this, I dropped the link in the description and I also dropped it in the chat and I'll drop it one more time. Subscribe to the second YouTube channel. Help me with my dream. Help me with my dream. Let me bring value to you and subscribe to the other channel. Because again, I love doing my channel. Don't get me wrong. But one of my goals is I want to have another channel that's not just about my perspective. I want to bring just rotations of great value to you guys for free. Don't go buy a course. Don't go spend a bunch of money on stuff. Just subscribe to our channel. That's all you got to do. Okay. Liked and subscribe. Thank you very much. So you can subscribe to my channel if you want to see, on my channel, I'm going to focus mostly on obviously doing my streams with you guys, but also talking about my trades. I've been doing a lot of live trading, which I really like doing. And so I'm going to switch my channel to mostly doing live trading, doing live streams, and giving you guys some trading tips. And then on the other channel, the goal is to stay live as much as we can and introduce you guys to other traders that we think are worthwhile having on. So one more thing, if you are a creator yourself and you're looking for a little bit of growth, if you're trying to get your feet wet, here's how you can contact me. Send a message to support@a1trading.com. If you're a newer YouTuber, if you've got some content you want us to check out, if you're good, we'll bring you on. And if you're bad, we'll never talk to you. I'm kidding, but we do want to see somebody who has if we're going to bring somebody on, we want to introduce people to good creators that have some value to add. So send me a message if you're a smaller YouTuber and you're looking to get on the stream. We'd love to have you join. Dollar yen, let's take a look at it. We'll take a look at USD, JPY. Ooh, look at this. Dollar yen pulling back to support here. Very interesting little setup here on the dollar yen. I think that the dollar yen has potential to make its move back to the highs of 2021 back here in February, I believe, or April. Yes, April, completely off. So back in April, we put in this high. This actually could be a fairly clean setup. If you find something on the lower time frames, something like this could be actually pretty nice. Something like a move up to that previous high. If you think it's going there, again, last week we had a nice catalyst there, a lot of bearishness on the yen, pulling back here and looking for continuations. I like that setup a lot. I might even take that trade in the group. If I take any trades, as you guys know, I share them inside of our private Discord community. There's information on that down below in the description. But yeah, I've had some decent trades recently. So let's see if I can pull this up. So I took some shorts on dollar CAD last week, which went really well. I went long on Aussie yen and Euro yen. Both of those were profits. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, my win streak has been going pretty well. It's not always this good, but lately took a profit on Euro yen, took a profit on Aussie yen, and took a profit on this dollar CAD short that ended up closing out last week. So, and then Aussie Swiss is going well. We can actually pull that up on the screen. Why not? Aussie Swiss. Look at that. So Aussie Swiss up 328 bucks. My mind tells me, oh, Nick, just take profit and go have lunch. But I got to let this thing run. So sticking to the plan here. We'll see if this thing can go. If it wants to keep going, I would love to see it head up to the top of this channel. For those of you guys who are members inside of the group, you might remember I talked about this channel that we see. I like the buy there. And you might say, well, Nick, that looks like a downtrend. But on the higher time frames, and you're looking at it from like a daily perspective, it still looks pretty good. I would love to try and catch the bottom here. So I will probably be trailing my stop. As you guys know, I like to trail my stops. If you're inside of the group, I will make any updates today. I'd love to see. So for me, trailing stops today, just a little clue for my friends inside of the private Discord. If we see this level break, that's probably where I'm going to look to trail my stop. I might move it to break even. I might move it just a bit up from where it's currently at, but I would love to see something like this. If price moves up to this point or breaks this point, maybe I'll move my stop up. If price moves higher from there, maybe somewhere up to here, I could see myself trailing stops higher. But again, that entry was pretty clean, not bad. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with how that played out. You can see there was lots of wicks on the bottom, and I just really liked that. I liked all the rejections there. And I said, okay, worth a risk to me. I'll take a buy trade. Jumped in there long, took about one lot on the trade. So I actually took a small position this time. But again, I would love to see if this thing can get through this level. So yeah, I only risked 250 on this trade. So a little bit less than my usual risk. Usually I risk anywhere from 500 to $2,000 on a trade. Very low volatility, boring. You're actually right. I mean, Aussie Swiss is pretty dang boring. But again, trading is not about being exciting for me. If it's boring, I don't care. If it's exciting, cool. But like, I'm not looking for excitement in my trades. I'm looking for trade setups. Like, I'm here to make money. I'm not here to have fun. I mean, I enjoy trading, don't get me wrong, and doing the research. I thought that this trade had the most potential from what I was looking at on Friday. I jumped into it. Fortunately, it's going well so far. I will probably move stops to break even and let the boring continue, because I don't care if something's boring. I care to make money. So, and that might sound stingy, but of course, we're all here for the same purpose. We're trying to build a skill that allows us to excel financially. So, I'm looking at Aussie yen and I'm saying, yeah, this thing's boring. I mean, look at this. For 4 hours of trading volume, it only moves usually on average like 15 pips right now. At the highs, it was moving like 35 pips back here. So yeah, it's boring. I'm not going to lie. It's a boring currency pair, but like I said, I don't care for excitement. I care for trade setups that give me good opportunities. Nick, you're amazing. Well, thank you very much. That's very nice of you to say. Nick, can you take a look at New Zealand yen? Sure, we'll take a look at NZDJPY. This is going to be one that I'm going to wrap up on, and then we're going to head over to our other channel for the next show, which, like I said, will be starting in just a bit. Check this out. So we broke through resistance. Price is pulling back. Honestly, might be an interesting zone. If price can pull back just a bit more. Thank you for bringing this up, by the way, our friend from Facebook watching on Facebook right now. I like this. I like this pullback here. I think there might be opportunity to look to go long on New Zealand yen personally. I like this as a possible setup I could be interested in. If we get a tag on that 38.2, in fact, what I'm going to do, thank you very much for pointing this out. Maybe I will add an alert here. Say, okay, send me a little DM or a text message sometime when you see this price come into play, if it comes in. I'd love to possibly hop on some New Zealand yen trade opportunities there. Like I said, if I take any trades, you guys will see them inside of the private group, those of you who are in the Discord. If you're not in the Discord already, join it using the link down below. There's a promo code, and we're actually doing a pretty steep sale right now. So if you've been looking to join us, if you're looking to join us, if you choose the gold membership and use the code down there, you'll get a steep discount. So use it if you want it. It'll probably be shut down by probably like Tuesday or Wednesday. So don't miss out. If you're looking to join us, come join the Discord family and hang out with the rest of the gang. But again, there's a link down below in the description, and there's a promo code for you. I do like that New Zealand yen trade. I like the idea of looking for this pullback after that recent breakout. Last week was really strong for the New Zealand and very weak for the yen. So I like that setup myself. I'll be watching for it. Guys, that's all for me. I'm going to shut down the stream now, and we're going to go over to the second channel. Don't go anywhere. Head over to the secondary YouTube channel. One more time, I dropped the link down below in the description. Go subscribe to that channel because we've got another show starting in just 10 minutes. So if you click that link that is in the chat box and subscribe to our other channel, we've got another guest who's going to be taking over the show and doing some more content for you guys completely for free. Don't buy a course. Don't go spend a bunch of money on anything. Just watch us for free and get some value from our various creators coming on to the show. Thank you so much, guys, for being here with me. I hope that you had a nice weekend. I hope that your week is starting out well, and we will see you back in the next stream.